Hey everyone, and welcome to another Marks & Crafts figurine review. Today I'm going to be looking at the S.H.Figuarts Naruto Uzumaki, the Jinchuriki Entrusted with Hope. Now, if you're unfamiliar with the S.H.Figuarts line or the S.H.Figuarts Naruto line, this is kind of like the Naruto equivalent to the Dragon Ball S.H.Figuarts line of Goku the Saiyan raised on Earth. Basically, this is a 2.0 mold and redesign of an older figure where they've reworked the body structure, articulation, colors, face, everything like that to make a more cohesive and better figure that's more accurate to the on-screen counterpart. Now, it might lack in certain things or change other things, but generally they are meant to be much better than the standard figures. Now, I don't have the original S.H.Figuarts Naruto figure that this is based on, but I can evaluate it just as a figure in its own right. So we'll be going over the paint, sculpt, posability, gimmicks, issues, and my general thoughts on the figure as per my general review structure, where I don't usually get to go through posability, so I thought I'd look at some articulated figures so we can finally start sort of deep diving into figures a little bit better. Now, first off, the box design is quite good. There's a good window into the figure, which is pretty standard for any posable Figma style S.H.Figuarts or anything like that style figure. There's some promo art on the side, which has been stylized to match the aesthetic of Naruto a lot better, and it also shows that it can hide the joints and things like that, and it looks quite nice. There's the official stickers on the box, there's a photo on the side of the figure. On the back there's a brief overview of what it can do, extra faces, and a very, very brief showcase of the articulation that this figure can achieve. And then on the other side is presumably Naruto's name in Japanese. I can't read that well, so I'm just going to guess because that's Naruto right there, and I'm guessing that's Uzumaki as well. So yeah, we'll open it up and have a better look at the figure inside. I also like opening my S.H.Figuarts like this because then you fill up or see the full design of that promo art, and it makes the box look quite nice. So, out of the box you can see the figure and all of its accessories. You can see we get 5 faces for the figure, so the one that's already on there, as well as a Ninetales fox face, a yelling face, sort of comical face, and sort of a base standard face, as well as the smiling face that we've got out of the box. Then we've got several different hands, we've got a Rasengan effect piece, a kunai, and a folded arm piece as well. So let's take a closer look at the figure. Now, taken straight out of the box, this is what the Naruto Jinchuriki Entrusted with Hope looks like. And you can see the body proportions, general structure, and everything like that look quite good. It's a very cohesive figure, at least when it's in its standing pose. There are very obvious joint cuts, especially in the torso, but generally it looks quite good and it's pretty cohesive in terms of its general look. Now, for paint, the faces are done quite well. I'll pull the other ones out for comparison. This one seems just a little bit off center, like this eye is a little bit further out than this one, but the paintwork on the headband is nice. The detail on the face is generally quite good. Now, his tracksuit is unfortunately a bit spotty. You can see there's some messy line work throughout. The zipper's done quite well, but the bare plastic of the orange is, I think the orange is the bare plastic color, is sort of messed up by some of the other paint. You can see the black's not as consistent here, and there's a little bit of a mark. I can fill this in later and clean it up a bit, so I might do that. But yeah, so the torso is a little bit of a concern on the side of his arm here. That is coloured in quite nicely. You can see there's some more. So the skin was all orange. You can see a bit here. Well, not skin, but the base plastic was orange. You can see a bit peeking out off to the side here, so it wasn't the cleanest paint job. But thankfully black is a lot easier to colour match than anything else. And we've got a bit of a satin or matte type finish on the whole jacket. There's a little bit of shading on the legs, I believe. This sash on his leg isn't really painted that well. It's kind of messy. There's, I think the red is painted. It looks kind of bare plastic. I think that's a separate piece. See anything else? His toes are painted and it's a little bit messy as well. So generally the paint's not the best on this figure, which is a bit of a shame. But because it is fairly small scale, you're not going to really notice it that much. But it is still a bit of a concern. But thankfully everything is quite easily fixable. But as for his other faces, here's his Jinchuriki face, the Nine Tails. It is incredibly well detailed. I love that they've done the lines right where his nose is. The eyebrows are a little faint, but the eyes themselves look incredible. Next, his comical yelling face. This is also incredible. It's also sculpted in, so the face has got depth, and that just looks fantastic. There's also a little bit of paint mark just under one of his whiskers. Hopefully that can come off, because I quite like this face. The serious stern face, and I think the eyes are better close together here, so that's a good standard face. And last is his normal state yelling face, which also looks fantastic. His other accessory are his folded arms, which can separate so it's easier to attach to the figure itself. And the hands are painted on this, and so they might not color match with his skin tone exactly, and it's not the cleanest job, but it'll get the job done. So we'll go through the other accessories after, but for now let's go through general articulation of the figure. So the head is on, I think it's a double ball joint, because it can go up pretty damn far, even though it shows the under part of his neck, and it can go down pretty far as well. You can move the neck around itself, which allows for good bends. The upper torso can bend pretty far and rotate as well, but it's stopped sort of by the actual structure of the figure, which is fine because it allows for natural curves. The lower torso can bend a decent amount as well, and when you put it in with the upper torso as well, you get a really good bend and you get really good articulation out of it, but you might need to line up the jacket a bit so it looks more natural in poses. The arms have got a butterfly joint, so it can move in and out pretty well. There's a hinge, ball hinge and rotation at the shoulder. It's a double jointed arm bend, and there's a ball joint hinge at the wrists. At the waist, you can split, you can bend, so it's pretty standard hinge. There's a swivel at the thigh, double bended knee, and it can go pretty deep, toe bend, hinge at the foot, and a pivot at the foot, as well as a swivel at the foot as well. So not anything insane, but you can get some pretty good dynamic poses out of the figure with something like that. And if you combine him with any of the other S.H.Figuarts from the Naruto line, I believe he'll match pretty much perfectly with them. Because the sculpt is quite good and everything like that, it's hard to break the sculpt in awkward ways. Everything will look pretty natural however you pose it, which is quite good. So the sculpt itself, even if the paint's not the best, the sculpt is pretty damn fantastic. All of the joints on the figure feel quite solid and nothing feels too loose. Oh, there's also a hinge at his headband, so you can make dynamic poses quite easily. So yeah, his posability is quite good. The joints all feel pretty good. They're not too tight, not too loose, which is pretty much just right, and it can hold the pose just fine. Issues, there's some paint errors on it unfortunately. We could get a little more movement out of the body in terms of rotation, but I don't see really needing that unless you needed really super dynamic poses. The sort of floating waist is a little bit annoying as well, but I understand why it's there. It's to hide the hinges as well as keep this sort of body proportion going. But yeah, not too bad. Gimmicks wise, it'll all be in accessories, and he's got a really good assortment of accessories, because a lot of the S.H.Figuarts Dragon Ball ones are usually kind of lacking. One accessory that I do prefer out of like Figma figures and things like that is that no matter what, they'll always come with a base, and it's a bit of a shame that S.H.Figuarts never, well, not never, but very rarely come with a base, and very rarely come with effect pieces. And this Naruto not only has swappable faces, and quite a few swappable faces, he's got swappable arms, he's got a weapon which is the kunai, as well as the Rasengan. So he's really packing a lot for a pretty affordable figure, and that's pretty damn good for the start of like a 2.0 line, because even though like for Dragon Ball the Saiyan Raised on Earth Goku was quite good, he didn't come with a lot of accessories. It was more just, yeah, this is a really good figure. But overall, he's a really solid posable Naruto figure. Would highly recommend him if you are interested in Figma scale figures, as well as just generally posable figures, S.H.Figuarts, Figma, anything like that. He'll fit right in with them and look the part. And let's do a quick size comparison so you can see how big the figure is. Here he is next to the Gundam Ariel, which is 1/144 scale, but all high-grade Gundams are roughly Figma size, so it all works out. Here he is next to the Pop-Up Parade Chun-Li, so you can see that it doesn't quite fit 1/12 scale because pop-up parades float around 110-ish, not quite, but you can see that the pop-up parades are larger than them. But yeah, that's pretty much it. It's a good, affordable Naruto figure, really puts the older ones to shame from what I've seen, and just up-to-date sculpts and paint jobs and everything like that are just amazing, because the last 5 to 10 years of figurines have changed quite a bit, and you get quite a lot for a fairly affordable S.H.Figuarts. So yeah, I highly recommend this one. It's a really good figure. But yeah, that's pretty much it. I hope you enjoyed the video, and I'll see you all next time.